What's up, guys? Got another very exciting open ultra team for you today, this time featuring Regirock. Before we get into it though, I have a very exciting announcement to make. I'm excited to announce that I'm joining the Metafi's replay review beta. So what is a replay review? Essentially it is, you send in a set of 5 games to me, or if you like Sylph better, then best of 3 and the teams that you picked your Pokemon out of. And I will look over them, I will watch them, analyze them, annotate them, and then send them back to you. And hopefully it's a good learning experience. Generally, it is a paid service, right? Because it's kind of like coaching, but for the next 24 hours only, it's absolutely free. Also only for the first 25 people, so 100% off. That's freer than the Bastion Skarmory matchup right there. So what are you guys waiting for? Click the link in the description for coaching, and I think you can just find the replay review off that. Remember to use the code WallowerReplay or it's not going to work. Also, if it's past 24 hours, it's probably not going to be free. So just get in there right now while you have the chance. Sorry about that. Let's go back to this video. All right. So for this team, we have Venusaur, we have Regirock, and we have Empoleon. And this is your pretty standard ABB team. So Venusaur and Empoleon, you guys have probably seen me do a lot of different teams based on them. They're much stronger. I think they're not that strong in Open compared to the Remix League. But Venusaur is a nice surprise for a lot of teams, and same with Empoleon. Empoleon has been okay. The main reason I'm running this backline is because I've been encountering so many Talonflames, most of them in the back, so I needed 2 very, very strong answers for it. Neither Regirock or Empoleon can really lose even down shields against Talonflame, and then Venusaur kind of covers those fighters and ground and water types that Empoleon and Regirock kind of suffer against. So Regirock honestly has been the MVP here. It's able to kind of just come in and take shields back or even win unfavorable matchups with enough baits. So for example, in the Empoleon 2 shield, if you bait twice, you can win. Versus Goon, you'll generally grab 2 shields from them. From Scrafty, you're going to grab a shield advantage too. So it's just all these common switches on Regirock, you can kind of hit really hard back. I want to talk a little bit about movesets really quick. Venusaur and Regirock, very standard. But Empoleon, running Drill Peck here, you can run Blizzard. I think I maybe used Drill Peck to win like 1 or 2 games, whereas I might have been able to win a lot more games with Blizzard against the Giratinas. If you notice, there are 2 core breakers, 2 main core breakers for the Venusaur and Empoleon core. That's going to be Giratina and Escavalier. And Escavalier you can't really do too much about, but Giratina you do kind of deal with decently well. Venusaur, Regirock beats it, I think. It's very close either way. And then Empoleon with Blizzard, once you get shields down with Regirock, you can probably beat it as well. So I think Blizzard could be good. I just didn't really feel like TMing my Empoleon that far in. So here we have an Air Slash Mandibuzz. We're going to swap right into Regirock and see what comes in. It's Jellicent. So a lot of people don't really know what to do when Regirock comes in, so you'll see a lot of slow swaps here. It's not because the people I'm playing against are slow at swapping. It's probably because they just haven't seen a Regirock before. So Jellicent versus Regirock, if it's not Bubble, it's not that Jellicent favored. So I can absorb a Shadow Ball, no problem. I'm going to throw the Stone Edge. I'm going to grab a shield. And we're just going to keep going. Let them throw. It's fine. I've determined I don't really need switch if I can just grab 2 shields here. So we'll see if they decide to go 2 shields down. A lot of players will do this because they value switch that much. In this case, I'd rather play Venusaur with 2 shields up. I'm kind of scared that what they have in the back is an A9. Because it's Mandibuzz lead, so A9 is pretty common in the back. But at this point, it's something that my Empoleon can take care of pretty well. But it's a GFisk, so not an A9 in this case, but yet another Pokemon that Empoleon can deal with. So gonna be able to take that out nice and easy, and it makes sense. The Mandibuzz lead generally comes with that GFisk closer, so gonna shield that up and just power through both the Mandibuzz and the GFisk. This might take a while. Yeah, once again, another situation where Blizzard, I guess, would have been useful. It would have sped up the game a little bit. Yeah, these foul plays actually hurt quite a bit, so I will have to be shielding them. But at this point, it's kind of in an unlosable position. But yeah, this team, I think I climbed 150 points with it in total, maybe more. Even after these sets I showed, I continued climbing, so it does work pretty well. You're going to have a couple frustrating losses, like I said, to Giratina leads. Giratina is a switch-in. It's not too bad because you can line your Regirock up on it, but if it's a lead, you kind of really have to hope that they don't have an answer for Regirock there. So, all right, so Scrafty lead, we're gonna stay in for sure, but they're not. So in comes Snorlax. I don't really have a Pokemon that has a great matchup against Snorlax here, because Superpower hits everything. Venusaur does have a good matchup, but I need my Venusaur for that Scrafty, so we're gonna swap Empoleon out. Regirock can hit Scrafty pretty hard, so it's not too bad. In this case, we're gonna let the first one through. Superpower. Unfortunate, but luckily I clicked the Hydro Cannon, so we'll see if they want a shield. No, they don't. So this is good. Mainly, the goal here was to keep switch without sacrificing a shield advantage. So we can come back in with Venusaur. Wait the timer because I did throw my move, so my timer is not up and theirs is. They could have easily swapped out there. We'll let them throw the foul play and see what they come in with. So great catch by them, very good counting. But in comes Talonflame, and I decide to get a little bit more energy on my Venusaur first because this matchup is extremely free, and I know they're probably not going to be shielding their Scrafty. So what I have to do here is build up to 100 energy, throw the Stone Edge. I wasn't confident enough to undercharge it, so I knew they were going to no shield, and the goal here is to get both these shields down because I need to be able to get to a Frenzy Plant. They start throwing Power Up punches, so it's a bit risky, but I'm going to go for the Stone Edge bait. Imagine baiting with Stone Edge, like it's actually crazy. If Stone Edge is an expensive move, it's usually the power move, but Regirock is the bait move. I'm going to shield the Power Up punch here because I really want to get this Focus Blast off. I've realized, hey, all I need to do is get my Venusaur to a move and I can win this game. So we switch into Venusaur, get to that Frenzy Plant, and can just barely take out this Scrafty. You're going to shield the Power Up punch. It's not that big of a deal. The Vine Whip already went through, so it's going to be a guaranteed win right there. And throwing those 2 extra Vine Whips at Talonflame really paid off there. I kind of had to realize my win condition there was going to get a Frenzy Plant off on Scrafty. So Shadow Granbull lead. This is a great lead. This team actually deals really well with Charmers. I throw Frenzy Plant here against every other Charmer. I throw Sludge Bomb, but Shadow Granbull is so squishy, I don't think it can take a Frenzy Plant. So that's why I'm okay with throwing a Frenzy Plant there. They throw a move. I'm obviously going to shield it. And then they get the defense debuff. So I'm just going to throw one more Frenzy Plant and then dip. But they actually just let it go through. So that's okay. I'm going to switch out as soon as whatever comes in. And it's Cresselia into Swampert. Neither of these are good for Regirock to see. So I'm glad that Regirock was able to draw out the Swampert instead. Deal some good damage with Focus Blast, and Swampert does need 2 Hydro Cannons to take Regirock out, so you will get that Focus Blast off every time. Sorry about that. So we're going to get the Stone Edge too. They have to shield the Stone Edge as well, if they let me get to it. But in this case, they're probably going to try and farm up quite a bit. And my Venusaur might have some issues, but also I'm not really too concerned about my Venusaur at this point. They can take it out if they would like. My Empoleon is there to clean up the Swampert once its energy dry, and then the Cresselia as well. But throwing that extra Frenzy Plant does really help with this Cresselia matchup. This matchup it should be really good, but honestly it's kind of tough. In this case they're just running Future Sight, so it's not bad, but if they have Grass Knot, those Grass Knots really add up. So even though you're a Steel type using all same type attack bonus moves, you can still lose this matchup. As you might, I think you'll see in one of these later games, I think a Cress forces me to spend shields to win that matchup. So in comes Swampert. This is a really smart play from them. Yeah, I was actually astounded at how good that play was for my opponent. Switching in there, I thought they had built up to a Future Sight on Cress, but maybe they were just one away still. But I thought that they were just trying to catch that on the Swampert to take out my Empoleon. If they let me farm them down, I could throw the Hydro Cannon and maybe win CMP. In this case, we have Talonflame lead, so not a great lead. I'm going to throw 1 Vine Whip and then switch out. And in comes Giratina. So this is exactly what you want to see. It finally worked. Giratina has swapped in on my Regirock. But they do have to figure out what to do pretty quickly there, especially with the Talonflame. If you give Regirock too much of an energy advantage, like that Jellicent did, they get into real trouble. So a lot of people make panic switches. In this case, Giratina comes in, even though it's likely the best answer to Venusaur. I guess they think they have the Talonflame as an answer for Venusaur as well. This Giratina has a lot of energy stored, but yeah, you can see how this matchup goes. We're gonna force another shield here. and they're forcing a shield. So the more shields they spend, the better for this matchup for them. They're going to be able to outpace me to that next move. Yeah, so I shield once, but they're already a second Dragon Claw, so I realized, hey, I'm not going to be able to win this in the 2 shields. Let's just take the second shield back. We'll take the shield advantage, 2-1, but they actually led it through. So instead, they're going to come in and farm down my Regirock, but I'm just going to come in with Empoleon. So 2 extremely hard answers to Talonflame. This game is not over yet, though. This Talonflame has a lot of energy. And I'm actually going to... Well, I don't have to shield the second one, so I elect not to this time, but they swap into Greedent, and I've got to swap out right away. This has to be something that Venusaur takes care of, and this is going to be an extremely close game. My Empoleon has to be able to live 1 Incinerate. If he can live 1 Incinerate and get 3 Waterfalls off. The Talonflame's not boosted anymore. So because it's not boosted, I think my Empoleon can from this HP. But it is important that I don't let my Venusaur get farmed down. So it is important for me to take that Body Slam here. And then charge up to 2 moves. Because what I want to do is throw the Sludge Bomb at the Talonflame. I'm going to let my Venusaur go down. And then I'm going to come in with the Empoleon and get 3 Waterfalls off and take out that Talonflame. So pretty important play there, I guess, to conserve the HP and energy on my Empoleon, and also making sure my Venusaur gets to that Sludge Bomb versus that Talonflame. Otherwise, if I don't do all of that, we're gonna lose that game. So that was a very stressful game, despite winning Switch there. Right when Talonflame gets a farm, it's just a very scary Pokemon. Swampert lead. I lose a couple of these in these sets, I think. So Melmetal switching. This is really hard. Venusaur doesn't actually do that badly against Melmetal because Frenzy Plant is just so good. But at the same time, I want this Venusaur for the Swampert. So I have a decision to make. I tank a Rock Slide and then I switch into Empoleon. This is a Pokemon I can guarantee switch with. I shield the first one. I shouldn't have. I knew it was going to be a Rock Slide. Even if it's a superpower, it doesn't KO. So I could have just let the first one through regardless. Throw the Hydro Cannon to get the shield back. I don't want to go too far of a shield deficit, but I know now if they just throw superpowers, then I'm going to have to shield one more time to keep switch. And obviously I want switch. I can't have Regirock on Swampert. So this is a very tough situation for me right now. In comes the Swampert, of course. We're going to get the Hydro Cannon off, but this doesn't really matter too much. Swampert's HP doesn't matter. It needs to get enough energy for an Earthquake to kind of take my Venusaur out. I'm going to come back in with the Venusaur, and it's an Escavalier. Oh yeah, okay. So we just lose these games. We just lose the Escavalier games. You can kind of take it down as a team effort, but yeah. Regirock, not too bad against it. Empoleon, well, I mean, they're all pretty bad against it, but Escavalier is just so squishy you can eventually take it down. Oh look, a Stone Edge does that much, and then I can probably take it down with a Frenzy Plant. But I decided my only win condition was getting up to 2 Frenzy Plants, because I would need a Frenzy Plant for that Swampert when it comes back in, because it's right at that Earthquake, or right before it. And unfortunately, I couldn't quite get there. So Charmer lead, you love to see it. Even if they swap out, you have Empoleon for it. And Regirock honestly is fine versus Charmers too. So in this case, we have Cresselia come in. I don't like playing the bait game, seeing if they have Future Sight or not. So I'm going to throw the Frenzy Plant, throw another Frenzy Plant. I mean, that's what Frenzy Plants are for, right? And then swap into Empoleon and attempt to farm this thing down. So the switch timers are out of sync, but hopefully I can take down this Cresselia before their switch timer is up. There should be no problem here. And these Grass Knots, like they deal quite a bit of damage, but they need to hit 3 of them, and this Cresselia won't be able to charge up that fast. Yeah, in comes the Sylveon again, which was quite a surprise for me. I was a bit nervous when this happened because it meant that Empoleon was maybe my best answer for something in the back if they're going to bring Sylveon back in, and they just sacrifice it. In comes Talonflame. So I'm going to make a quick switch to the Regirock, and they don't quit. Yeah, this matchup is very solid. I guess they need to test out how much damage all this stuff does. I'm just throwing with as good timing as I can. 1 Stone Edge will KO a Talonflame, so you just need to land it. Don't shield the first move. If it's Brave Bird, that's fine. If it's Flame Charge doesn't really do anything. In this case, I shield this next move, but you can also let it through. I think Brave Bird won't KO, just +1. But I'm going to get to the next Stone Edge here, and we won't get to find out how much damage a Brave Bird will do. So we win with 2 shields up. Or sorry, 1 shield up in the 1v2 shields. Regirock is just too spammy for Talonflame to deal with. Alright, next game, we have Umbreon lead. This one is an interesting lead. Every Pokemon on the team is pretty good versus it. You do have to beware of Psychic Umbreon. So, because I did catch a Psychic once. That's what I was trying to do there. But most of them are running Last Resort. But it is kind of scary to stay with Venusaur. And that's the main reason. In this case, I get them a bit lower so Focus Blast will actually KO them. Otherwise, generally it wouldn't. They try and catch the Focus Blast. A great timing by my opponent. They go into Clefable. This is actually the best place for their Clefable to go for them. So I'm not sure if they know the team or if they're just like, okay, this is my Clefable's chance. But we're gonna throw 2 Stone Edges. Try and make it to this next Stone Edge. Yep, you're gonna make it to this next Stone Edge too. And that one will force a shield if they want to keep any sort of alignment, which it looks like they do. I'm gonna come back in with the Venusaur and shield up Big Psychic or potential Psychic. I'm not sure why players bait with Meteor Mash. There's like a decent chance I was actually just gonna let my Venusaur go and play the 2 shield. So I don't know what was going on there. And in comes my worst nightmare here, Talonflame. No wonder they fought so hard for Switch. They really wanted to get Talonflame on Venusaur. But luckily, I've got Empoleon in the back. And before they can really do too much, their Talonflame is kind of low. I had to really think about what will do more damage, Foul Play or Flame Charge. In this case, I thought Flame Charge might do a little bit more damage. So I'm going to stay in, soak up the Foul Plays. And hope that my Empoleon can live 1 Incinerate so it can get 3 Waterfalls off. Yeah, I got a shield here. If it goes down in 1, Venusaur should be able to get to a move. But if it doesn't, then yeah, Empoleon in a blaze of glory is going to be able to take down the opposing Talonflame there. So yeah, the entire point of this team is to beat the Talonflames. Talonflames, they're an infestation. They've taken over the open ultra meta. Might be kind of my fault too. Who knows? But either way, Talonflame's got to go. I'm ready. I'm trying to take them out of there. In this case, GFisk lead. This is a new lead. I used to like to play this by always shielding the first move because it always was Earthquake. So this player is playing the very standard way. And in comes Giratina, so then I'm able to bring in my Regirock. But I've noticed a lot of players have started baiting their first Earthquake versus Venusaur, which I don't know if it seemed to be a thing that started happening ever since I started streaming with this team. So I'm not sure if people are watching the streams and realizing, hey, this guy never always shields the first Earthquake. But I got baited, like you'll see in the later games in this set, I get baited a lot with GFisk. Or not this set, but these sets. But yeah, I decided to keep it to only 3 sets this time because it was dragging on a little bit long. These Ultra League games are very long. I don't want you guys to have to watch like 45-minute videos or something like that. But yeah, we're able to win Switch without really expending any shields. GFisk comes back in and it's got this energy advantage now, which is a little bit scary. So even though we got the Earthquake, it's probably at the next one already. So I do debate shielding here, but I realize that if I have to have my Empoleon lined up against the GFisk later, then I'm going to need that shield for Empoleon. Venusaur doesn't need the shield as much. So they're going to come in with this Rock Slide, I'm sure. I was trying to absorb some energy so I can come in with Empoleon and just farm all the way down. In this case, oh yeah, this game. So this case, out comes Swampert, and I realize I have a win condition here. It's calling the bait correctly. So essentially, if I call the bait correctly, I win. If I don't, I lose. So I decided I don't like people who bait. If they throw the move straight at me, I'll let them win. And that's exactly what they do. So coin flip. I guess it's not technically coin flip, right? Because other players making decisions. But kudos to my opponent for not baiting and just going straight for that Earthquake, knowing that if it's shielded, it's a loss. So here's a redo. Redo, except I'm a turn behind, which is unfortunate. Because I'm a turn behind, I throw right away. Because they're going to get the move through regardless. And then we're gonna shield up this big Earthquake. See, this is what GFisk players used to do. And then in comes Gyarados. This was a tough decision because I wanted to swap. I should have swapped my Regirock in right away. But instead I stayed too long for my Venusaur trying to catch the crunch and have to take it. But I'll come with Empoleon and farm down. Yeah, Empoleon is not too bad versus Dragon Breath. Gyarados should have come in earlier. At the same time, I'm losing my GFisk counter, and I still have Regirock in the back, who's not the greatest against GFisk. So we'll see what comes in. And it's Snarl Granbull. I saw Fairy, I'm like, oh my god, it's another person bringing a Fairy into Empoleon. But Snarl Granbull, this thing is an interesting pick. It's kind of weak, like squishy, and it doesn't get the same type of attack bonus on any of its moves. But it's got a very good moveset for Open, Ultra. But they just use both their shields there before close combats even come out. I got no shield. It's going to be a close combat. I'm going to bring back in Venusaur. As a move. So I'm going to shield that up. They're going to go for the crunch. I'm going to throw one more just to make sure they're not trying to catch on me. Since my move is 2 turns and theirs is 3, I'm going to throw the Frenzy Plant to take them out. And then immediately swap into Regirock versus this GFisk. We got to get to that Focus Blast. They have an energy lead. So we need to make sure they don't get to an Earthquake and a Rock Slide. So they get to the Earthquake there. And we'll beat them to the Rock Slide with this Focus Blast. And Focus Blast will definitely KO a GFisk from a half HP. So our rematch versus GFisk lead, we're going to win again. Or win. Not again, because we definitely lost last time. Oh yeah, that was another pretty positive set there. Only 3 wins though. But got escaved one game and then outbaited in the next. We'll see what these other teams bring us. We haven't seen a Giratina lead yet in these sets. Oh, they might have all been in the set before. Okay, so Jellicent into GFisk. In this case, it's a bit tricky. I really want my Venusaur on this Jellicent, but at the same time, this GFisk is also where I want my Venusaur. So I gotta get into my Empoleon eventually. They bait me with the Rock Slide, and this is the one time I wasn't planning on shielding because I wanted my Venusaur to take a move so my Empoleon didn't have to take a move. So instead, I get baited with a Rock Slide again. That's 2 baits, 2 Rock Slide baits in a row. This guy's crazy. Or girl. I don't want to assume anything here. And then they get there again. You know what? I'm going to shield again. So, no, I'm no shield this time because I'm like, you know what? If they bait me again, I'm going to have to shield again. And I'll shield this time as it's finally the Earthquake. So, on the 4th time is the charm. They actually go for the Earthquake. In this case, I'm going to swap to my Venusaur to throw this Frenzy Plant I have loaded at the Jellicent. I don't really care if this Jellicent takes me out. If they have Ice Beam or something like that, I just need to get the damage on the Regirock. Once it's this, sorry, Jellicent. Once it's this low, I can afford to use my Regirock to just Stone Edge it and not take much damage. But at full health, it's a big threat to the back line. So GFisk comes back in. Gonna throw Frenzy Plant at it. Yeah, I kind of had to do that. But at the same time, I kind of thought it'd be A9 in the back. Jelly lead is usually A9. And at this point in time, they baited me an absolute ton. I'm not a big fan of baiters. So I was like, you know what? You baited me. I'm going to... This is my version of BM. I really should have drill pecked, but went in through my energy on Empoleon and then switched to the Regirock. But yeah, probably would have just been nicer to switch to the Regirock and have them have the ability to just leave that game. But 3 Rock Slide baits in a row to start it out is a bit too much for me. All right, Swampert lead. This is what you love to see, except you don't love to see that lag. In comes Greedent. This one's a bit interesting of a matchup. It's definitely Venusaur favored. But at the same time, I'm going to go and try and catch the Body Slam on Regirock. Regirock into Swampert's no good, right? So the goal here is to try and expend my Regirock's HP, taking down this Greedent. And now I have Empoleon and Venusaur both have pretty good matchups versus Swampert in the back. They do get the defense drop on the Crunch. Yeah, the defense drop on Crunch is very interesting. It's changed a lot of matchups. A lot of Pokemon get Crunch. So in comes Swampert again. I'm gonna Focus Blast it because I swap slow, right? So my timer is not up, but it's gonna be up soon. In this case, it doesn't really matter to me. All of them take me down. Regirock has done his job. He won shield advantage out of the switch. I'm now up 2 shields with Venusaur. I think the only reason that I can think of that they would do this is maybe they have a Talonflame and they really want to get Talonflame on Venusaur. or something like that. But 2 shields with Empoleon is pretty scary. It's Registeel. So they want Registeel on Venusaur. I'm going to throw 1 Frenzy Plant, which I shouldn't have thrown. I should have just swapped because they'd be stuck in that matchup for a little bit longer. But now it's a matter of trying to find your win conditions. So let's do a little exercise here while the rest of this game plays out. How do you win this game? So the only thing you should be shielding, the MVP of your team right now is going to be Empoleon. So you need to keep your Empoleon alive. And they have a Pokemon on their team, Registeel, that threatens a one-shot Empoleon with Focus Blast. So really, you want to be saving your shields for Registeel. So you need to get low on this Greedent, and then yeah, they realize the writing's on the wall. If you start shielding those crunches early, then you're going to lose the game. So it is about saving your shields a lot of the time. And trying to figure out what is the most important thing to shield. Another Swampert lead. Oh, this one. Yeah, so Crest can win back shield advantage. So I'm going to throw Frenzy Plant here. Alright, no. I was going to throw one more and switch, but they swap in, and it's a Grass Knot. So I was hoping for Future Sight Crest, but look how much... Like, Crest threatens pretty hard. It's actually kind of crazy. I'm going to throw Hydro Cannon here because I thought I would be able to take them down before they were able to get to another move. But unfortunately, it's going to take just over 3. So they're going to be able to get to that Grass Knot. I decide I have to shield here to maintain switch. I really want my Venusaur on that Swampert. And just going to throw this Hydro Cannon. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it to another one before I get farmed down. So that actually does put me in quite a bad position. Yeah, they throw beforehand even. So my Venusaur will likely only have to take a Hydro Cannon. But it all depends on what they have in the back. And it's a Talonflame, so saved once again by the Talonflame. MVP of this team is opposing Talonflames. And with the 2-to-1 shield advantage, honestly, it gets kind of close if they play their cards correctly. So they're going to throw the first Flame Charge, I'm sure. They're going to throw the second Flame Charge, I'm pretty sure. And then we're going to see how the rest of this matchup goes. If they went Brave Bird, I think I might have been in some trouble there. But we're going to be okay. Let's grab that Stone Edge. I know they were looking to switch, but the switch timer was not quite up yet. And then as soon as they come back in with Swampert, we're going to go back in with Venusaur, not let them get any farm. Yes. I'm surprised we didn't see a Giratina lead in any of these sets so far. I faced a decent amount of them. Lost most of them. But you just switch to... Yeah, oh, speak of the devil. Alright, you switch to Regirock, and then they switch out, and essentially this is a loss most of the time. So, this is an XL Registeel 2, I believe. I'm going to throw go straight Focus Blast. Regirock, I think, beats the non-XL version in the 2 shield. But the XL version... It's a bit too bulky. So, I'm going to throw this Focus Blast. Again, probably going to get another shield. And I decide, you know what, I'm going to match shields. My best chance is to get shields down anyways. And look, this is the type of game you want Empoleon to have Blizzard in, because then you can beat the Giratina at the back. But unfortunately, I was too stubborn to do that. Yeah, so the reason you win is because you outpaced to Stone Edge on the last one. So they're going to throw Focus Blast here. It's not going to be quite enough to KO. Throw Stone Edge. And you'd think that this would be enough to KO, but XL Registeel is too powerful. And you get lock on down. So this isn't great. I'm not able to win switch. Not that it matters too much anyways, but obviously Giratina is going to come back in. My goal is to deal as much damage as possible to this Giratina. I can definitely take it down with Venusaur and Empoleon combined. So I usually would switch out in this scenario, but I'm kind of hoping that they have a Charmer or something like in the back, or something that Empoleon can deal with. I think that's my only hope at this point, so I do stay in this matchup. So I get this Giratina pretty low. I'm going to take the Dragon Claw and switch. And then just hope that they have something beatable in the back. But instead it's Pharaoh, Thorn. This honestly is another core breaker to the whole team. But it's not something you really see in open. I think I've seen 2 Pharaoh Thorns the entire time I've played open, so Either way, tough game. Another Stunfisk lead. Starting to see more of these recently, actually. I think people are starting to get frustrated with Remix and bring their XLs into Open. Yeah, hit those Frenzy Plants. And look at this. I'm going to shield, like I normally do. And here we have a Rock Slide bait. It's another one. I don't want to sound crazy or anything, but yeah, I don't know. People just start, like, I hadn't seen it in so many games, and then all of a sudden it happened. Giratina switching again, and this is why we have Regirock on the team. This is his job. Take out these Giratinas. And with the lead being the GFisk, so we've seen this. Have we seen this exact team before? We've seen these two before. Oh yeah, and if you're a Giratina player, don't use Shadow Sneak on Regirock. Not that I want to be helping out the opponent here, but Dragon Claw is definitely better bang for your buck against Regirock. It's a rock type, not steel. Yeah, there they go. They throw it. They can hear me. I'm just kidding. I think they just made a mistake on the first one, which is fine. So they get both their Dragon Claws off, and I'm going to win the race. So Regirock in the 0 shield beats Giratina. I don't know if it wins in the 1 shield. The more shields they spend, the better for them. And I'm lucky that they decide not to win switch advantage here. Because guess what? It's a Swampert. So they show their entire hand, and that hand is incredibly weak to Venusaur. So they actually catch a Frenzy Plant here, which is honestly fine. I would have loved to farm down that Swampert and throw Frenzy Plants to the GFisk anyways. But they're going to throw a move here. I decide not to shield. That's a Rock Slide. So a lot of baits around. This time I think I do shield. Yeah, because it's an Earthquake. And we're going to farm up more. They're throwing a Rock Slide. But I'm going to charge it to 2 moves. My goal here, throw a Frenzy Plant. And then I don't know if Venusaur beats Swampert in CMP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out. If it wins in CMP, I'm going to win this game anyways. If it loses in CMP, swapping out makes them have to end this matchup with a charge move, or they're going to lose. So hopefully my Empoleon puts out enough pressure that they can't end this with a charge move. They have to Hydro Cannon and farm down. Otherwise, you can't store Hydro Cannon in an Earthquake. So they would have to farm me down. If not, they're going to lose. So I put them in a position where they have to make a couple big plays to win. But they cannot. Not that they themselves could not do that. It just was not in the cards for their Swampert. They did not have enough HP or shields or anything like that. But yeah, that's the team. I've since climbed even a little bit more. I know it's Ultra. I'm still pretty far behind a lot of these other leaderboarders and stuff like that at this point in time. But it's Ultra League, so I'm just doing my best to have fun. And honestly, Regirock, like, I recommend a lot of Regirock teams to you guys in the past in Great League, and everyone's like, oh, you can't get Regirock, blah, 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 right? But you can get Regirock for Open Ultra, so I don't want to hear any Regirock complaints in the comments here. I want a Regirock-friendly environment in the comments. But yeah, as always, thanks for watching, everyone. And thanks for your support through all this time. Oh, wait, I didn't show... Oops, sorry, Patreon supporters. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for your support. I forgot to do that at the beginning of this video because we did have the offer that was shown. I forgot about that. Yeah, thanks for watching, guys.